Yeah, hostess of Reddit, what are some secrets that passengers can take advantage of during a flight? You should try tomato juice while flying. Even if you don't normally like it. Science says it's more delicious at high altitudes. Seriously. Google it. All alarm rests can go up. There is a button or latch underneath towards the back of the armrest. It's useful if your tray table is down and you need to get up. As a tall person, thanks. Edit, dropped an R. As a modestly tall person who discovered this on his own years ago, you're in for a treat. As you exit an international flight, if you walk past the business class section and see a cute little bag, often with a name brand like Chewy, take it, assuming that section already deplaned. It's a care pack that many business class travelers don't use or want. It will contain socks, eye mask, lotion, toothbrush, lip balm etc. Edit, here's what they look like. I got arrested for stealing someone's purse. Thanks. Let's say you're traveling with a child who has to use the bathroom. Now let's say there's not enough room in there for you both in case they need help. They close the door on you and latch it. If they can't unlatch or need help, you can find the emergency door latch on the outside of the door under the no smoking placard. Huh. So basically all the screaming I did when I was 6. With attendants and my parents trying to calm me down and get me to unlock the door, were all for nothing. I found that if you ask for a Coke, you get a cup of ice filled with Coke. But if you ask for a can of Coke you get the entire can, which is usually chilled. And you can ask for a cup of ice on the side. It works with any canned drink available. And is nice for when you want more than a gulp before you run out. I asked for a Coke. The attendant said a Coke? Okay. He comes back a few minutes later and says here's your coffee. I didn't feel like bothering with it so I took my coffee. As I took a sip it wasn't coffee. It was hot chocolate. I don't know how you mess up that badly. But it was really good hot chocolate. I'm just a passenger. I forgot a phone charger in between flights. I was directed to Lost and Found. They had my charger in the office and I got it back and took my connection flight. If you ever forget anything, just go to Lost and Found. It worked for me. They clean the plane immediately between flights and I'm just really happy to share this. Maybe it's even too obvious. They do not always clean entirely between flights. If your plane has other stops that day your item may travel to another city before it is found. Booze is free in most intercontinental flights. Is that a secret? Wait, but if you are flying from a country where the drinking age is 18 to one where it's 21, can you still order alcohol if you're between those ages? Generally speaking, the airline will enforce the drinking age of the country that the flight was registered in. I'm a flight attendant dude and you can call me a lot of things. But please don't call me an air hostess. Would Sky Bunny be appropriate? If it's a long flight, bring a package of cookies or chocolates as a thank you gift for the crew. They will love you for it and do whatever they can to make your day. I try to do this as much as possible when I'm flying. It's been worth the $10.15 spent even when the crew didn't really go out of their way to do anything special. It's just nice to know you had a positive influence on someone's day. Last trip I handed them a huge pack of chocolates and they went out of their way to hook me up with all the little extras. They dropped by to say thank you. It was great because my girlfriend's mom was wondering why I was being treated so well. At one point she incredulously said, "What the duck dart?" Not an air hostess, but when the beverage service comes around ask for the can. I've never had anyone say no. I'm always thirsty when I fly and usually chuck down whatever is in that tiny cup right away, so being able to refill it a couple times is nice. Not a hostess, but I travel often. If you select the seat near the emergency exits, you get more legroom space. You just have to verbally confirm you will help in case of an emergency. Bonus: people are now at your mercy at the event of a crash. Alas, we now have to pay extra for those seats. Be nice. Flight attendants have given me free booze when they caught me doing nice things. Once I requested the same meal as the person beside me. The flight attendant passed me mine. Then told my neighbor that it was the last one. She was sad. So I took a different selection so she could get her first choice. Free booze for me. Another time there was a rude kid in the row behind me. He wouldn't stop kicking seats ahead of him. Me and my neighbor both got free booze for bearing with it. Say you need the halal meal due to religious reasons. It's generally tastier. On BA flights it's a really nice rice dish, and you get served first. If you're in a rush or your flight was delayed. If you ask them nicely, the captain will allow a select few to grab some parachutes and skydive for a quicker landing once close enough to their destination. I have done this before. Since I live about 10 miles from the airport. American Airlines permits it, but you have to arrange in advance and bring your own parachute. Also, they will usually debit your air miles account for the privilege unless you bought a first class ticket. Not sure the validity, but I heard if you are having a panic anxiety attack, you can talk to the attendant and they will help calm you and or show you the cockpit to give you sense of assurance that everything is fine. Edit, cockpit not captain's cabin. Lol, yeah, cockpits were probably way more lenient pre 9/11. Now they probably just let them chill in their flight attendant chill spot to talk it out or something. IDK. Flight attendant, are you nervous? Me, yes. Flight attendant, first time? Me, no. I've been nervous lots of times. Whether you line up first or last to get on the plane, everyone leaves at the same time. My friend and I went to Iceland last summer and he was getting really antsy aboard. I hung back and we went on last. Sat right down and didn't have as long a wait to take off. It was great. Then I threw up. Also, can you tell me why I want tomato juice so bad on flights but not when I am on the ground? Something to do with how your sense of taste is altered, which is why food often tastes bland. There's plenty of information on the web about the phenomenon as well as a few YouTube videos. I hate tomato juice under normal circumstances but love a Virgin Bloody Mary when flying. If you want to sit in first class, just do it. We don't mind. A blonde was going on a plane trip to New York. When the attendant came by and asked for her ticket, she told the blonde, "I'm sorry. Your ticket isn't for first class. Could you please move to your seat?" The blonde replied, "I'm blonde. I'm beautiful. And I'm going to New York." The attendant said, "That's fine, miss. But you'll have to go to your seat." The blonde responded again, "I'm blonde. I'm beautiful. And I'm going to New York." This conversation continued. Always with the blonde's same response. The attendant got so upset that she went to the captain and told him about the blonde. The captain went and whispered something in the blonde's ear and the blonde immediately got up and went to her seat in coach. The attendant asked the captain how he got the stubborn blonde to move. He said, "I just told her that this part of the plane wasn't going to New York." Economy Plus will give you an extra inch of foot room. A Skyshop magazine. A free massage, and if you open the blind at night, you get to see a demon. I take issue with the term air hostess of Reddit. Certainly it should be air hostesses. There is not only one air hostess on Reddit. There are probably at least dozens. Now I'm imagining one air hostess for all of Reddit being overwhelmed by thousands of tweets and requests for tomato juice. It's true. Never ever drink tomato juice any other time, yet every flight I go a Bloody Mary and it's sublime. It is legally fine to slap someone who rests his her head on your shoulder while sleeping. Dare they think of sleep again on any flight. AWW. One time I'd had the worst week imaginable and a very nice older gentleman let me rest my head on his shoulder. I did it in my sleep. And rolled lower and lower until I was basically drooling on his thigh. He sat stock still. I woke up staring at a stranger's thigh. Horrified and apologetic. He just said it was nothing. Maybe 5 minutes max. Smiled and said he was glad he could finally turn the page in his book. As a person who usually takes a window seat just so no one can touch me, I was mortified. I was still blushing when I got off the plane. Asked the flight attendant on the way out how long I was sleeping there. She laughed and said it was at least an hour. Thank you, sir. For letting me sleep. Not making me feel badly about it. And for not sniffing my hair like a creeper. Not an airline employee. But I recently was on a flight that was way less than 50% booked. My window seat was one of those that didn't align with the window, so I just got a wall. I moved up. Not realizing that I sat in the economy plus section. Which had nobody in it. Despite the attendant seeing me move. She still gave me the complimentary adult drinks that came with the upgraded section. Straight male here. Not an air hostess. If you take a red eye from SDF to DFW and miss every single cue of an air hostess flirting with you, he will send you off the plane with 7 little bottles of alcohol and offer to give you a ride anywhere in Dallas. It was weird. If you go to the lavatory and the flight attendants haven't unlocked them yet, some airlines lock them during taxi takeoff. Look on the door for a sign or placard that is raised above the surface of the door and isn't a sticker. The lock is under that. Just flip the sign up and slide the lock open. A question for air hostess. Is there any way to thank or tip you? I have been on a few flights with a significant number of drink coupons. We tried a few times to tip the hostess since they were taking awesome care of our group of 6, but they said they couldn't accept it. Is there something else we should be doing? I'm not an air hostess, but if you cry they'll give you the entire can of soda instead of pouring it into a cup. Is there a chance for me to get one of those pins badges, wings, like how the kids can get? I'm not a kid. I'm in my 20s. My sister flew for the first time on her 11th birthday. When we reached cruising altitude, the whole plane sang to her, and when we landed the pilot let her go into the cockpit and gave her a cute little book and a pin with some stickers. I was a very jealous big brother. Not a host, but if you're planning to sleep and you're traveling alone, get a window seat so you have something to lean on. But before you select your seats, do a test and see if you are most comfortable sleeping with your head resting on the left or right side. If you sleep with your head tilted on the left, choose a left side window seat and vice versa. Careful though. Sleeping while seated is not the same as sleeping while laying down, so it might be different. Not an air host, but if you have access to VIP lounge, either perks of work, bank etc, or through family or friends, just take as many of those little cans of pop with you for the flight, since you're past security anyway. This sounds obvious, but saying please and thank you to the flight attendants when they serve you goes a long way in how they respond to you.